Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is December 8th, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery. And if you haven't noticed, I am back at home. Got in late last night, kind of jet lagged here, but this atmospheric river is calling. I mean, what a beast. Look at this thing extending all the way back towards the western Pacific Ocean. High pressure here to the south, troughing here to the north, gears in the machine, funneling this moisture back into the region. Let's check it out. Now, taking a look here, what is going on this morning in the Doppler radar? You can see the event is now underway. We've got a long period of some steady, moderate, potentially heavy rainfall for some areas. We got some sharp rain shadowing that'll be going on, pretty typical with any atmospheric river event. And we'll take a look at the latest. And we got some wind advisories ongoing here. We got some big river flooding possible as well. And not a good look for the mountain snows here over the next couple of weeks or so, but we'll check out the latest on that as well. Always some hope, but I'm crossing my fingers that it does change. Now, looking at flood potential here, we got flood warnings, we got wind advisories. This is Portland National Weather Service. This graphic has been out for a few days now, and this is Seattle, Tacoma as well. We're going to get a bit windy here across the region again today, and flood watches are in effect. Probably have to be upgraded to flood warnings as we go on in through the day today, tonight, and on in through the next couple of days. Now, Spokane National Weather Service put this one out. There's some model disagreement on how strong these winds are going to be across eastern Washington, but there is the potential for some gusts up over 50 miles per hour, as you can see. Southeast Washington kind of targeted there. Look at Pullman, 50 to 60 on last night's graphic here from the National Weather Service Spokane. And also, just because you go east of the mountains here, there's some east slope potential, 2 to 4 inches here. Steep terrain, burn scar areas, rock and mudslides possible. This was issued yesterday as well. Spokane National Weather Service, as always, does an excellent job. Atmospheric river event, Missoula, Montana. You can see the snow levels rising as we go through this event towards 7,000 feet. So there's going to be some interesting flooding activity, risk for rock and mudslides. Heavy wet mountain snow above 7,000 feet. Now, if you want a nice affordable home weather station, makes a great Christmas gift, click on the link down below. You can detach it there, attached to a fence post, no moving parts. I test 2 of these at my house. Highly recommended. Great smartphone app. Click on the link down below to save 10% off. So now looking here across the North America view, you got Alaska to the upper left. There's the Pacific Northwest. We're at 500 millibars, or what is about 18,000 feet. And there is our jet stream there, just pointed at the Pacific Northwest. And again, you can kind of see how this does look like gears, this high pressure system there with the troughing, funneling that moisture into this jet stream in this atmospheric river, just absolutely bearing down on the Pacific Northwest. And I keep hoping that we get some of this colder air that's locked up here across portions of Northwest Canada and towards Alaska, and it spills out over the Gulf of Alaska and starts to bring us some mountain snow chances. I'll show you the latest on that here in a moment, but it's not looking too great. Now, looking at the European model, again, this is as we go through the day today. I'm clicking through 3-hour chunks, just a lot of rainfall income in here, folks. And a lot of this snow is across some of the higher peaks. Not really much help to a lot of the ski areas as we go through this upcoming event. And then that kind of moves through the region here, and then we go on into the day Wednesday. Look at that. A lot of this is just plain old rainfall across a lot of the Cascades by Wednesday morning, except again for the highest peaks. We go through the day Thursday, some of that precipitation continuing, and we get a bit of a break there, but then we have the potential for more systems after that. Stay tuned for the latest. I'll check that out on the artificial intelligence here more in a moment. And I took some of the wording here from the excessive rainfall outlook discussion, and you can see the plume of moisture moving over multiple thousands of miles over the Pacific Ocean before it reaches the coast, which is further enhancing the amount of moisture available to fall as rain once that moisture plume runs into the wall of mountains. That is the coastal ranges and the Cascades. So there's the Mango Express all the way back across the Western Pacific. Very warm air moves across the Pacific Ocean, picks up even more moisture and slams into our mountain ranges. And again, gears in the machine. Again, wording here from the excessive rainfall outlook as well. So yeah, crazy stuff coming up here, folks. Possible river flooding. I'm going to show you here more in a moment. And also, here's the day 1 excessive rainfall outlook. You see the slight risk there. This is day 1. There's day 2, more slight risk. And also, don't sleep on the marginal here. Like I mentioned, there is that potential across northeast Oregon, some of eastern Washington, Idaho Panhandle, western Montana also. And then we go to day 3 as that atmospheric river bounces back northward. The slight risk is out there. And this may get an upgrade here as well, because all this rainfall coming in, I wouldn't be surprised to see them eventually put out a moderate risk at some point, and this is day 4. Now, this is just for the next 6 days here. You can see a 24-hour running total precipitation amounts Seattle topping out, SeaTac probably somewhere an inch and a half or so, but you can see much bigger amounts for some areas. And again, you can see the nature of this atmospheric grabber kind of shift to the south a bit and then bounce back north as we go on in through the day Wednesday. Again, just absolutely hammering the Pacific Northwest with precipitation amounts. A little bit more impressive if you look at the total precipitation inches, and this is just for the next 6 days or so, 144 hours. I mean, look at the amounts. This is probably going to end up being higher for some of these individual locations as it shows up over 14 inches. And you can kind of see it's fairly widespread across some of the coastal ranges here as well, and the Cascades. I mean, especially kind of southwest Washington, some of the central Cascades really under the gun here for some very heavy rainfall. Now, if we take a look here, this is Puyallup River, for example, and if I go to the full gauge page, it shows you something interesting. We're probably going to be into major flood stage. And if you go down here, remember that 17,000? Look at the flood impacts. Once you get over 16,000 here, you can see what could possibly be happening. Major flooding from Ording downstream through McMillan to Sumner. Swift and deep flood waters will inundate roads, and you can also see the other thresholds there as well. But yeah, we're supposed to be over that 16,000 flow cubic feet per second. And if we take a look here at what are we looking at here now, Snoqualmie, and if we click the full gauge page as well, again 47,000. Not one of the huger events, but still you can see what happens when you go over 41,000 right there. So and also I got to call attention to Chehalis. The record flood crest there is 205.5. We're supposed to get to 205.3, so that could really bring some interesting flooding even down towards the I-5 corridor. And if you go up and look at the flood impacts here as well, you can see majority of residential and commercial areas within the region are going to be kind of inundated there. So listen to your local authorities and be very careful out there. Don't cross those flooded roadways. Best way to go is just kind of get to a place where you know that doesn't flood, maybe a neighbor's house or whatnot, and just be aware of the situation unfolding here across much of western Washington and some of western Oregon. So Snoqualmie Falls near Carnation. Also look at this double bump up into major flood stage here as we go through the next few days. And again, this is we go through tomorrow, December 9th, and then you can see we go back up into that flood stage as well. Now, looking at wind speeds also, because we're saturated out there, and as we go through the day today, the Europeans showing a pretty windy solution here. I mean, 45 for Seattle. That might knock some things down. There's Bellingham right there at 47. And you can see that Spokane doesn't show as strong here as what the Spokane National Weather Service was showing. But you see these big winds across the higher train. I also want to mention that, and don't forget about that. Some of southeast Washington as well. But if we look at the North American model, you can see, look at that. Seattle almost towards 50 miles per hour. Look at this, some 50 plus out there across eastern Washington. Could include Moses Lake, Ritzville, I-90 corridor again, southeast Washington, and maybe Spokane gusted up over 50 miles per hour as well. And you can kind of see some of these gusty winds along the coastline here also. Might be overdoing this a little bit here on the North American model. These atmospheric rivers, sometimes these wind speeds can be overdone here, but things are saturated and we need to call attention to it. Now, what is going on here over the next 2-week period? Because obviously, when we get this huge flooding event here across the region, we need time to dry out. Are we going to get it? Well, let's take a look. So here we go as we go through the day today. These are 6-hour chunks here, folks, and this thing just does not want to leave us alone. It's just bouncing around across the region. And as we go through the day Thursday, finally we get a bit of a break here. Some cooler air tries to slide down, but it's probably going to keep off to the east for the most part. And you can see systems continuing to plague the Pacific Northwest. I mean, look at that one as we go on in towards next Monday, and then look at some of these other systems here. Very warm, potentially fairly impactful atmospheric rivers, and that could really be problematic here. If we get another one on the heels of what we're getting right now, that would be extremely bad, and that one looks pretty sinister here as we go on in through next week as well. Man, no rest for the weary, and look at that. It just continues as we go through December 20th, 21st, 22nd. Oh my gosh. And then, this flow is going to be pretty warm out of the south and west. So that's not good for the ski areas as well. And I've scrolled through 360 hours. The resolution isn't that great here, so you shouldn't get caught up in these individual amounts too much. But my goodness, look at some of these amounts here over the next 2 weeks on the artificial intelligence. Continues to bring the fire hose into the area. And now artificial intelligence versus its ensemble mean, we're looking at 5,000 feet, about 5,000 feet or 850 millibars. And as we scroll through here, again, these yellows, oranges, reds, and browns, these are all above normal temperatures. And I'm scrolling way out in towards next week. We're now out towards December 19th. There's December 20th. Do you see any cold air coming in there? I don't. And that's not a good look. I was hoping we were going to start to build up some of the snowpack. It's probably not going to be the case. And the models really, other than maybe random runs here or there, have been showing it. But yeah, not a good look for the snowpack there as we go on in towards the Christmas period. Now look at the GFS here. We've got the ensemble mean on the left versus the control run on the right. So let's scroll through here. And here we go, 850 millibars. And you'll see that it does show some of that colder air trying to move around to our north. But again, we're very warm out through this next weekend coming up. And then some colder air tries to come in, but really it just continues to get replaced with some of that southwest flow, bottling that colder air up to our north. The deterministic run shows some cooler air trying to move down way off into the extended forecast. I mean, you're talking 280 hours out, and the deterministic GFS is kind of like a joke, honestly speaking. And you can see the GFS ensemble members do not agree with this Arctic outbreak trying to push down into the Pacific Northwest. So if you see some of that stuff going on in social media, you can pretty much discount it because there's the ensemble mean. Definitely in that range, you side with the ensemble mean. Now, Crystal Mountain Ski Area, just kind of showing you guys this in the ensemble, what could potentially be coming up as we go through the extended. It's not a slam dunk that we're going to keep getting hit with atmospheric rivers as we go through the month of December, but there is the potential for it, and you can see why that would be such a big deal with all the rainfall incoming here as we go through Thursday. Now, look at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport on the artificial intelligent ensemble mean. I mean, look at this. The control run is actually up over 12 inches. There's the ensemble mean up over 10 inches by the time you get towards December 22nd. We'll see how that turns out. But also the European, the regular one, also showing big precipitation amounts as well. And there's the 6 to 10 day above and above, above and above. That should make sense. Check out the Patreon page. I'll probably be live streaming or doing another briefing at some point here today. And I may be live streaming over the next couple of days as well as I go out and try to capture some footage of this flooding. So hopefully you are listening to your local authorities. You're prepared, and yeah, you know what to do in case of a flood. And if not, ask an old timer in your area because they've seen this stuff before and it looks like it might be a pretty decent one. And yeah, so anyway, I'll wrap this up here, get this video out. Hopefully you guys are having a good day, and I will catch you guys in the next forecast.